Hey.
Well, all right. Welcome everybody to Live from the Owl's Nest. I'm Jamie.
I'm Alicia.
And together we're RoyalWise. Well, what's RoyalWise? Computer software training and support specializing in QuickBooks Online, Microsoft Office, and
all things Apple, like over there.
you on. You may be able to tell that I'm not actually in the Owl's Nest today. I'm doing the remote thing, but because of that, got a very special guest, and so I want Alicia to go ahead and introduce our special guest.
We've got Matthew Hagem in the house. Woo!
I'm here.
Matthew is on a road trip that he will tell us about in a few minutes, and so he's literally in the house, and so we had him come up to the Owl's Nest just in time for the show.
I made it too. I was worried about traffic, but
oh, it's just rain. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. You're from the Northwest. You didn't go that far. So because I am going to be jumping out of the nest soon because I'm remote, I just want to pitch a couple quick things, mention some things real quick going on in my little world, and then I'm going to let Alicia and Matthew just kind of take it away and have their fun. I want to just mention that JMac Fixes Everything, my new webcast podcast, has episode 4 just came out. And this episode is called Honey, Where's My Data?
Like, honey, have you seen my pants?
Where are my pants? Right.
That's from the Lego movie for those of you who are wondering.
Yeah, right. Let's not get
looking for his pants.
So anyway, episode 4 is out. You can go to Apple Podcasts and listen to it as a podcast. You can go to YouTube and watch it as a webcast. You can also go to askjmac.com or jmacfixeseverything.com and listen to it and watch it right on the website. Also, remember to subscribe and like and share and comment and all the things that content creators say. I don't know. It's weird. I also have a new short that came out. We're doing the little 1-minute shorty video, Reels videos, and I've already got 220 views in one day.
No way.
So,
which one?
Yeah, that's a little short about why do I like refurb devices? Why am I not scared of refurbed iPhones and or refurb Nintendo 3DSs? I think there's an advantage to refurb. So go find that short and like and share that too.
People don't really think that there's advantages to refurbs. They're like, oh, I don't want something somebody else touched. But you make some really good points in that.
I've got my own take on it, and I'm not going to share it here. You got to go find the short or watch the entire JMac episode to get my lowdown.
All righty.
And lastly, I've got a class tomorrow. This is the third of my series for iPhone, iPad basics. And so we've already done Focus on Fundamentals. We've done Mastering Your Device. And this time we're talking about the camera app and the Photos app. I don't know if everybody knows this, but the iPhone is the #1 digital camera on the planet. And there's no device has ever taken more photos or videos than iPhones have.
Take that, Panasonic.
Right. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, you can sign up. Get the whole 3 classes in a bundle. Just come for this one class. But with the new iPhone 13s and 14s, we've now got 3 cameras on the Pro, and we've got night view and 50 new features that it can do. But if you don't know what button to push, or maybe you want to disable it or turn it off, like every time I take a photo at night, it counts down from 5, and I don't want that anymore, right? So learning how to, and I personally like to take one normal and then one night view and compare them. Right. So, but if you don't know how to turn that feature on and off, we're going to go over every single feature the camera has to offer. And we're going to talk about when you take a picture and it goes into the Photos app, where does it go? How can we organize? We're going to talk about the new Memories feature, where it actually will go back a year or two and make this beautiful slideshow of a memory of your life, and all sorts of cool things. And a little bit about iCloud. How does iCloud sync my photos? So that class is Friday at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Feel free to go to royalwise.com and check the calendar to get to it. What was that?
Pacific time.
Pacific time. Okay, that's pretty fair. And with that, I want to thank everybody for letting me drop into the Owl's Nest. It's not my time, and I'm going to hand it over that way to Alicia and Matthew.
Thanks for flying in.
Okay, I'll see you guys next time.
All right. So I want to do a little bit of my housekeeping first before we get into the juice for today. So first, I have a huge announcement, a huge effing announcement that I'm so excited about. I've been working on this now for 2 full years. I just got the word this morning that RoyalWise is now fully CPE compliant. Yes. So that means all of you bookkeepers and accountants who need continuing education credits when you take our live webinars or when you go into our on-demand videos and you can pick any topic that you want to know about, you get CPE credit that you can print out your certificate and send it on to NASBA or to your accreditation board, and you will stay compliant. So this is huge. I mean, if you don't know what goes into, I didn't know what goes into CPE credit until I get started, but like you have to actually work on your terminology for your learning objectives to make sure that your test questions are mapped to your competencies, and the way that the learning objective is expressed can be demonstrated by the questions. It was a bear. It was really crazy. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. So that is our super exciting news. And then some upcoming stuff happening on the 25th. Gita Faust is returning as our guest instructor talking about vacation rentals. And so if you are a homeowner or a property owner and you're renting out your property as a vacation home through Airbnb or Vrbo, Gita is going to be talking about how to handle this inside your QuickBooks and how to keep track of your expenses. And so that is on April 25th. She's actually going to be our guest on the Owl's Nest in 2 weeks from today. And on May 2nd, I am teaching my banking center class, which I'm super excited about because I'm a bank feeds geek in the highest level. You've heard me say before that the banking feed is either your best friend or your worst nightmare. And I want you to be able to use it so it saves you hours of time, not costs you hours in cleanup. So I'm going to be expanding this class. It used to just be a 2-hour class. It's now a 3-hour class where I'm going to go into the app transactions and the receipt center and and the tags and everything that's in there. So it's got a lot of new content in it. If you have taken my banking center class in the past, the new video will become available to you in the portal. And so you are welcome to come join us for the live rebroadcast on May 2nd, or you will get the new material. And then following that up, closely related to Banking Center, is reconciling. So in 2 weeks after that, so on May 16th, I'm going to be teaching an hour-and-a-half class, I think, on how to reconcile, but not just how to do the first phase of matching everything that is on the statement, but the troubleshooting of everything that's not on the statement. Why do I have an extra 10 transactions that are causing my bank balance to go wonky? So I'll be explaining what those are and how to fix them. All right. Enough about me. I am delighted to introduce to you Matthew Hagen. Yay!
I made it. Hi.
Hey, hi. So Matthew is the owner of 10K Creators, is his company, and so he helps artists improve how they make and manage their money. You are also the co-founder of the Accounting Alchemy Network with our beloved Ingrid Enstrom. And what brings you to Portland?
Well, this is the first stop of a how many days? I think we're on the road. Well, I'm on the road. I don't think I get home until May 10th.
Wow,
May 11th.
That's a long trip.
Yeah, it's a very long trip. So we're going to go all the way down. Me and I'm with one of my clients and one of my friends and longtime partners and collaborators. We're going all the way down to San Diego. Then we're going up through Joshua Tree to Las Vegas. Then we're going to go up to Lake Tahoe. Then we fly back to Maryland for a week and 3 days. And then I come back and then finish the drive the rest of the way, stopping through Bend, Oregon, because do you know what is in Bend, Oregon?
What's in Bend, Oregon?
The last Blockbuster on Earth. So
there's still a Blockbuster.
There is one Blockbuster
I did not
open.
Even know there's
it's in Bend, Oregon. There's a documentary on Netflix if you watch it. It's really good. Yeah. So I have to go take a selfie at the last Blockbuster. Yeah. So that's really why I'm on the road trip, is for that epic finale. But yeah.
Right on. Well, good. Well, I'm glad that we can kick off your tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what are you going to be doing?
Well, so I'm spending a lot of time with one of my clients and collaborators and friends, Adrian Clancy, Dr. Adrian Clancy of Clancy Works Dance Company. And we've known each other for about 18 years. And I serve a lot of different roles in that organization. But one of the roles that I play in that organization is actually a creative role. I have not only a background in business, finance, numbers, bookkeeping, accounting, and helping people with the numbers side of their business, but I've also been a professional dancer and choreographer for over 18 years.
We even got to dance together.
We
as a happy
did.
kid.
I know.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It
Yes,
really
you were a
was.
good dance partner. I really enjoyed that. Yes. Anyways, yes, memories.
I got moves.
Yeah. Yes, you did. Yeah. All right. So what we're working on together on this trip is really spending time together, on some creative work that we're focused on. We've got a couple of new projects that we're choreographing, particularly in collaboration with some dancers actually from Hawaii. We're preparing ourselves to go visit Hawaii and meet these dancers to do a collaboration with some Hawaiian dancers. So this trip is really for the two of us to spend some time sort of in the creative process, thinking about the themes that are coming up in the body of work that we're creating, and really investigating the content inside of this. And then in addition to that, I play a leadership role in the organization, and so this is just a really good chance for Adrian, who lives on the East Coast, and myself living on the West Coast, to come together and just kind of bond a little bit about some of the things that come up in terms of leading an organization and helping people to like have great lives and run great businesses.
I sort of envision you guys coming to a scenic outlook and then getting out of the car and doing interpretive dance.
That will happen. Yeah, that will definitely happen. That's part of the agenda. Yeah.
Awesome.
And we'll even put it on Instagram. The Clancy Works Instagram will be the primary place, but yeah, yes, we're going to do that. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's totally cool. And then I've been how I met you was through the Accounting Alchemy Network, and so kind of this is my spin on what it is that you and Ingrid and a number of socially conscious accounting professionals realize that the way to transform this world into the world that we all want to live in is by looking at economics. Right?
Yeah.
Is that a way of putting
Yeah,
it?
I think that's a fair interpretation. I think people approach the work of the Accounting Alchemy Network in different ways. Really, how I like to frame it for people is we are helping accounting professionals and people that work within and around the industry to understand how they play a role in helping CEOs, helping small business owners to prioritize people and planet over profit, right? And that looks different depending on who the person is and where they're at in the organization. And so for some people who come into our community, it's about getting sort of the baseline education of, well, what is going on our planet, and what kind of an impact are some of these decisions that we've made having on other people around the world, and sort of building that awareness. And then as people progress through the work inside of the community, they might start asking questions like, oh, okay, how do I look at, for example, this topic of racial equity and injustice inside of my organization, and start to think about ways of changing some of the systems that haven't supported people for a long time. And so we have a lot of conversations about leadership. We have a lot of conversations about organizational development and transformation. We talk a lot about how this changes the conversations we could be having with our clients when we sit down and look at their financials with them and talk about how they make smart business decisions that aren't just, again, about optimizing the profit, but also understanding that some of those decisions have consequences on people and the planet, and being mindful of that.
Right. I mean, it's a tricky conversation because we live in a capitalist society where the whole purpose of being in business is to make money and to make as much money as you can. But times are changing, and people are realizing that their ethics are just important as their pocketbook, but and that there are intangible costs to the decisions that we make about how we run our companies and how we create our product or services, for example. And so for me, I really love what Alchemy and what the AAN is doing, because it's kind of shifting people's thinking about what's valuable, that there's more value than just money.
Yeah.
That people's lives have value, and you could commodify people's lives. And if you count that into your balance sheet, it changes the equation.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, and also, what is money, right? Like, I think one of the interesting things that comes up in the conversations around what we're advocating for, and one of the terms that we use is this term regenerative accountant, right? And
Regenerative
a
accountant.
regenerative accountant. And I will give Ingrid full credit for introducing me to the word
down.
write that word down, regenerative accountant.
What is a regenerative
And I'll explain that,
accountant?
right? So when I entered into this work, and I think a lot of us that come into this space who are curious about positive transformation in the world, you will hear this word sustainable, right? I'm sure you've heard that word before.
Yeah,
It's just
sure.
that we want sustainable solutions, which is not a bad thing. And sometimes the question to ask is, well, what are we sustaining, right? Because the truth is that some of the systems that we have in place, we actually don't want to sustain them. We want them to change. And not only do we want them to change, and there's sort of this concept, I think, in fact, there's a book a friend recommended to me called Hospicing Modernity. It's literally letting things pass, right? And gracefully so. So that something else can be born. And so in the context of this term regenerative, what we're sort of really interested in is not only maintaining the health and wellness of an ecosystem, and let's just think about the business as the ecosystem, but actually asking the question, okay, helping it to sustain is one thing, but what if there are parts of the ecosystem that need more? I'll use the analogy of watering a garden. What if there are plants that have a weed in the ground, and you need to actually remove the weeds, or you need to water the plant, or you need to reorganize the landscape so that the water filters down a certain way, right? It's that there's actually decisions that can be made that and I sort of relate to the word regenerative as sort of life-giving or life-affirming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, for example, maintaining a corporate culture that is inherently oppressive, what would a corporate culture look like that actually honors and celebrates people and lifts them up and inspires them to be more than they are in a very beautiful way?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a regenerative practice. That's saying, like, you're amazing, we want to support you, and we know you're capable of a lot, so let's water that plant and let it grow. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I relate to it. So when in the context of regenerative accountants, it's and as I was saying earlier about this sort of what is money piece, one of the questions that comes up for us as we talk about a regenerative accountant is that, in fact, they are responsible for stewarding the money story. Our clients' beliefs and practices around money are observed, tracked, monitored by us, and so therefore we have the responsibility to understand that we actually do have a say in how they relate to the finances of their business, subsequently meaning that we have an opportunity to effectively steward a new money story. You get what I'm saying?
Fertilize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And fertilize it and let beautiful things grow from it.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool. I love that you're kind of introducing new terms and concepts into the industry. And, I think there's a whole lot of really beautiful work to be done that we know. We already know that the dynamics of the bookkeeping and accounting industry is shifting. And I think if we can really promote some of these ideas as the direction that we're going, I think we'll get some new blood in the industry and some younger folks.
Agreed. Well, and I think part of it too is it's like honoring our humanity, right? Because the thing that is true is there's a lot of emotions, and I'm sure all of you know this if you've been working with with businesses and as a bookkeeper or CFO or CPA or whatever role you play, that there's a lot of emotions and feelings attached to those line items in the bank statement, right? It's not just a line item in a bank statement. It's what that person felt or how they decided to move forward about something based on beliefs or attitudes that they have around what is a good decision, what is not a good decision, how do I put this business into the right trajectory so that it can become something that I need it to be, that my customers need it to be, etc. And instead of sort of like separating ourselves from this sort of this dynamic, this rich experience, and this sort of these narratives around what money is, and saying, okay, well, I'm just your accountant. I just want to just get me your bank statements, just get me your receipts. Just
I'm
tell
all
me
about
how
the
to log in.
taxes.
Yeah, I just want to get
Everything else is
your form needs to be done, and then that's those are all important, but that doesn't change the fact that it's sort of taking the heart out of it in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much more potential for us to serve. We talk about being strategic advisors. There's so much more potential for us when we own that we are a part of that story and have an influence in that story and can guide our clients towards making great decisions about their business, not just for their bottom line.
Yeah, which is also making the business owners aware that your role is more than just numbers and buckets. It's really helping them thrive.
Yeah.
Both their funding and
Yeah.
emotionally
Correct.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing that work. How can people find out about the Alchemy?
Yeah, so
The
if
Accountants
you
Alchemy
can
Network.
Google it, theaccountingalchemy.net, right? Or go to theaccountingalchemy.net, right? That's sort of the primary place. We have a website. It's a good landing page. There's a newsletter form. You can fill it out. And then when you fill it out, you'll subscribe to our newsletter. We don't send emails but once a month. But what you will get in that email is an invitation to join us on both LinkedIn and on Facebook. And then within those social media groups, we have the somewhat similar content. Well, we have the same content, slightly different communities. And that's the space where we announce all of our webinars, which we call lyceums, our social gatherings, which we call social forums. We've got some really awesome webinars coming up. We've got a Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion webinar coming up with Jana Etienne, who's brilliant at that work. We have some amazing conversations going on with a woman named Mayumi, who is the founder of CPA Moms, talking about humane workplaces. That's been an amazing work group. We've got a beautiful partnership with this organization called the Pachamama Alliance. We're in the midst of one of the programs that we administer in partnership with them is called the Game Changer Intensive. That's happening right now. So there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So just subscribe to the newsletter, get into the feeds, and then plug in and be a part of the conversation.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing everything that you've got going on. So definitely go look up Matthew and also subscribe to our Royal Wise resources on YouTube. Hit that little bell so it dings you when we go live. We've got a Facebook community training for QuickBooks users. And then, of course, you can go to royalwise.com and explore there and click on the calendar to see all the classes we have coming up. So this is I'm used to having Jamie next to me for the closing piece of this. Jamie, if you're here, come on back up.
He's not here. Oh, but I have this awesome shirt. Is this shirt available for like sale?
Yeah. So we have these shirts. You can find us at conferences to get the shirts. We also give them out for as awards when people take classes with us at learn.royalwise.com. You get points for every video that you watch, and then when you get enough points, we actually send you a t-shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one. This is so awesome. Thank you. And I love the color.
Welcome.
Yay.
Hey, excellent. All right. So I'm Alicia.
And I'm Matthew.
And we will see you in class.
Ciao.